For the past several years, the Capillary Humane Society has been looking for opportunities to move our existing spay and neuter operation, which is currently over on Cedar Street in Lansing. We established that facility in 2011 to address the need for spay and neuter services, especially at an affordable cost for individuals in our community who care about their pets and want to do the right things and provide spay and neuter services. We're obviously also trying to address the overarching issue of just way too many companion animals, both in our community and nationally. It's been a huge problem for animal welfare since really the beginning of animal welfare. So spaying and neutering is a huge priority for our organization, and we really saw a need that a lot of folks in the community want to do the right thing and provide that service for their pets, but really the accessibility to veterinary care and the cost were prohibiting them from doing that in some instances. So we opened that clinic with the goal to really address spay neuter and make it affordable and accessible to every pet owner in our community. And since that time, we spay and neuter about 6,000 animals annually at that location, and we're over 85,000 spay neuters that we performed since we opened that location on Cedar Street back in 2011. So we made tremendous progress here in our community to address pet overpopulation. But we continue to run into the issue that we're booking 3 and 4 months out for individuals wanting these services. And we have a very small location, and we're just not really able to keep up with the demand. And we thought over time we'd be able to catch up, and really the delays for services are growing, they're not shrinking. And we're finding that people are getting frustrated, again, wanting to do the right thing and get their pets spayed and neutered and just not being able to get that appointment in a timely manner. And pets reproduce quickly. So if you have to wait 3 or 4 months, that might mean another litter of puppies or kittens that really aren't needed in our community. So the board at the Capillary Humane Society and leadership team has been talking about this for many years. And we developed some strategies a couple of years ago to try to make this become a reality for our community. And over the course of the last year, we received a donation of a building, and we're in the final stages of accepting that donation right now. And so we will be relocating this facility over to Saginaw Street, 3303 West Saginaw Street in Lansing, and moving from a 2,500 square foot facility to actually a 16,000 square foot facility. So a tremendous ability to grow with this new building and this magnificent donation from the Michael G. Ida Estate. And so once we secure the building, and again, we're in the final stages, then we're hoping to move forward pretty quickly in converting this existing office building into a spay and neuter surgical center, and hopefully in the future also able to provide some additional services for the pet community. It can potentially, I mean, for most healthy animals, spay neuter is a routine surgery, and so it's not necessarily going to be detrimental to the pet's health, although they may come into heat. And again, we may the pet may experience a pregnancy, and obviously coming into heat, there are some health conditions that can be a result of that it can go poorly. They can develop infections if they're not spayed and neutered. So there's certainly some health benefits to spay and neuter across the board, whether or not it's preventing population or not. Generally, pets are healthier if they're spayed and neutered. But the weight, I think, is really detrimental to the overpopulation crisis that we're facing. And shelters are packed full of animals every day, not just in our community, but across the country. And so, there is a critical need for the health of the animals, and obviously critical need for just controlling that population. Since we received news of this donation, we've been really hard at work developing the plans to utilize this space. Like I said, it's so much bigger than our last space. And so we've been working with architects and builders. Obviously, project like this cost a lot of money, and we've been trying to move forward, minimize costs, and develop a really great plan that's going to utilize the facility to the best of its potential. And so the second story, the top story of the building, will be converted into a surgical center, and that will be the focus of that space. It'll enable us to at least double our surgical capacity. We're doing about 6,000 annually right now at our current location, so we're hoping that this move will enable us to double that. And so obviously just a much more profound overall impact with our spay neuter services. And because the building's so large, we're also looking at other opportunities to grow and offer more services, additional services in the future. We haven't gotten that far because right now our focus is moving our spay neuter clinic, but because this space is so much larger, it just gives us so much potential for the future to offer other services for pet parents in our community. We're going to stage out our growth because growth takes effort and time. And so we will probably double our medical staff. So we'll probably have twice as many surgeons, twice as many support staff, twice as many licensed technicians. So, and we're operating, we've got a team of about 8 individuals now. So probably 16 to 20 to enable us to reach our capacity, which is really our goal, to serve the most animals we can. It's going to take some time when you move and grow. I can't say we're going to have that many staff the day we open. I think it's going to be a work in progress, but we hope within about a year's time, our business plan is about after a year of opening that we would be up to that capacity. And that is our hope in terms of our growth. It's a little hard to project that. Right now, most of our clients are coming within about an hour radius of the greater Lansing area. So people do drive. We had a client come, actually drove 3 hours the other day to get our services because they couldn't afford traditional services anywhere near their own community. So, we're certainly not trying to necessarily pull people from other communities, but we don't have any boundaries. And certainly anyone who needs our services will be able to use our services. So right now, I think that hopefully it will not necessarily, I'm not sure it's going to grow the radius of people we're serving. Right now, we serve the greater Lansing area, Ingham, Clinton, Eaton County, and beyond. I'm just hoping mostly it will make these services more affordable to people and also more accessible so they're not having to wait for the services. And certainly, if it grows our geographical area as well, that's just a bonus to anyone we can serve. There are other similar clinics in other communities, but nothing else that really looks like what we're doing in the greater Lansing area for at least an hour radius of our clinic right now. Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about and launching this concept to our support base since about last fall. We are just now getting to the point where we're fine tuning those numbers and could really communicate appropriately what the cost is going to be. Unfortunately, costs just seem to go up and up, whether it's construction or anything else right now. So we are trying to minimize the costs, and we're working with our builders right now. The architects are just finishing the final drawings. So what that enables us to do is translate that into cost. And so trying to minimize costs and value engineer to the best of our ability. As a nonprofit, cost is always going to be that overarching concern. Like, how can we make this happen for our community in an affordable way? Because we're really 100% relying on our community to fund this. It looks like it's going to be a $2.2 to $2.5 million conversion or project or renovation on the building. And that's just a lot of money. And like I said, we spent the last 6 months trying to fine tune those numbers and get them as low as possible, really to minimize what we're asking from our community to make this happen. Right now, we're about $1.3 million of that 2.2 to 2.5 million. So we have a long way to go. It's been a bit of a challenging climate for fundraising. And, we're hoping that maybe picks up a little bit, but we're going to keep going out to the community and looking for people who are interested in making this a reality. I know there's tons of people in our community who support animal welfare and support these great efforts. And we certainly are blessed to have an amazingly supportive community. And we're just going to keep looking, asking, seeking out people who are interested in making this a reality. Really, the only thing holding us back right now, we have the building. Like I said, we're in the final phase of the drawings and the construction plan. So everything is coming together beautifully. The only thing holding us up from a timeline perspective is really securing that last bit of funding. And again, we're still looking to raise about $1 million. And that's a huge, for an organization our size, that's a huge amount of money to need to raise for a project. But we're going to keep going at it. We're going to keep asking, and hopefully efforts like this will help to spread the word that this really amazing project is at our fingertips, that everything's lining up beautifully to make it possible. And it will really help not just animals. I think sometimes people look at the humane side and think, well, animals, they're nice, but it's actually helping people and keep their families together and take care of their pets, which for I would say the majority of people in our community, over 50% of households have pets. So the majority of the people in our community care about pets and want to do the right thing for their pets and want to provide veterinary care for their pets. So this is going to help people, and it's going to help pets in our community. So we are working hard. We'll probably be fundraising through at least the end of the year and hopefully reaching those fundraising goals so that we can start construction as soon as possible. We're ready to go. Yeah. I mean, we've had to go through some rezoning for that building. So there's been a lot of things behind the scenes happening over the last 6 to 9 months to actually make this possible. Not just the donation of the building, but we had to go through the rezoning process with the township. So there's been a lot of kind of quiet things happening, and we are positioned. I think I know the only thing holding us back right now is just securing the funding so that we can start the project is really ready to roll. Well, yeah, I think the affordability and for veterinary care, it's hard for populations to afford that. So I don't see it improving. I don't think there's anything that's going to relieve that for our community outside of expanding these services. So there's a lot of frustration. People are very frustrated when they call and they can't get those appointments. And we obviously want to help as many pets as we can as quickly as possible. But again, we're maxed out at our current clinic. So I don't know of any other way we're going to see relief than to get this moving forward. And we're very motivated and very determined to make it happen. But I don't see another solution for this particular problem than to get this project underway and to get it built. It's probably a 9-month project in terms of construction. And so even when we get the funding, we're still looking at, well into next year before we're able to use the facility. So the sooner the better for the animals of our community. And we're well positioned to make it happen. We just need that final push. I've been doing this. I've been in animal welfare for 25 years, and so I've seen a lot of climates for fundraising. And I've been in this position here at Capillary Meat Study since 2009. I think that generally, from an economic perspective, that expenses, at least for my organization, expenses are going up and up, and I think that's impacting the people in our community who want to give to charitable organizations. I know people are still giving and extremely generous, but we even see our average donors who may give, a certain amount every month, giving a little less and a little less, just because it seems that maybe those expenses going up are impacting them in their personal lives. And so I think it's a hard time to ask for money. I think it's been one of the hardest climates I've seen in a long time in my position. And people, again, are incredibly generous, and animal welfare is at the top of a lot of priorities for people interested in supporting charitable work. So I don't think it's a lack of interest in giving. I think it's maybe more just people having to tighten down on what they give to nonprofit and charitable organizations. They still love and care and support about the mission. And, we're hoping to see that improve. Again, it's not going to stop us from getting this done. I think it's just slowing the progress that we like to see. And, we're just going to keep working away until we find a way to get it done.